tool there, you can see me making the actual design fit within my lines just by scraping it down the side of where it goes out there. I do it again. I find that a really, really quick and easy technique of getting it in the lines. Obviously I delete my lines at the end anyway, so nobody ever knows. I'm just going to keep doing this for a long time, so yeah, I've not got much to say for this bit. This is me checking, realising I've made a mess of this one. I did this really scrappy by accident, so I had to go back and redo it. So I spent a long time adjusting it. Don't always, it does vary, but this one I did spend a long time doing this. I'd skip ahead, but then I'll lose where I am. So yeah, I just go in and, you know, for this bit you don't always need a sketch or an image to go over, although some people like to leave an image because it leaves the mane and tail of the original horse, and I think that can look really nice, but I don't personally do that, although this is only my 7th one I've ever made, so I can't say from much experience, and I haven't tried that either. Yeah, so I spend a long time doing this. Yeah, I've finished. Now I'm going over to the smudge tool, and I've got it on 50%, but I turn it up a bit, and I'm basically just smudging anyway. I'm now on 100% strength, and I move it back down to 60. It's just bits that look a bit too sharp, and I've gone back to my smudge tool because this wasn't very neat. Yeah, this way you can really see me neating it all up and creating lines where there weren't lines. Trying to blend some of my colours. And this front leg was really thick, so I went back and thinned it out and made the other one more visible. Lots of this is practice, I'd say. I don't know, I spend a long time on them. I don't know how long everyone else spends on them. So back to smudging and just neatening all these outlines, just to try and make it look as neat as possible, because that's what you're aiming for, I think. Me anyway. This one I gave it an Arabian head, because the original image from Equine Trivia, it wasn't that dished, the face, but it looked quite dished to me, and I think this horse suited a dish face. There, you can see it there. It was slightly dished, but that was just my interpretation of it. Now I'm going to the brush, and what I'm doing is, what I've done is I've created a new layer and set this to multiply. I don't actually know what this bar would be called. Multiply, then using a normal paintbrush on 3 for my pixels. Normal and then 5%. This is what I use to make shadows. So I was starting to do my shadows, going along doing shadows, and went wrong, so I had to start again. And I find this really good. I use this when I'm doing digital drawings. And it works incredibly well. And it's really useful. Sorry for this thing in the middle, it's just how I'm recording this. It's a free recorder, so it's a bit dodgy. There's not that many on Macs that I found. If anyone's got any better ones, please tell me. So yeah, this is the shading, but I'm going to show you something in a second when I get round to it on this. So this is how I normally start it. I do all my lines and then I go back and fill them in better. Now what I'm going to show you now, using a red pen, is I'm going to show you where I do my shadows. So you can see the hatching means it's a block space and the lines are where I use a thicker line. This basically I've learnt through looking at horses, being around horses a long time, and drawing them a lot. It's basically where the muscles lie, is the best way to describe it, is creases of muscle. Or where there's a tendon, which is on the legs, obviously you have a split between the tendon and the bone. That's also where you get shadows. So yeah, I just jumped to the beginning of the recording. Sorry about that. Try and find where I was. No. Yes. No. I'm really bad at this. Sorry about this. There. Okay. Because I clicked on the wrong button. Yeah, so this is just for a reference for anyone want to use. I'll put a link in the description to the photo, so I'll take a photo of this and you can have a look at it. Yeah, so anywhere that looks like a cobweb, I do a cobweb, a cobweb shape, and that seems to work for me. It's like a cross-hatching style. There's other areas you can add. Everyone has their own preference. Don't do what I do just because I've done it. You know, if you've got your own style, stick to your own style, but this is a suggestion for someone who's maybe never shaded before or really hates their own style of shading, is try this. this isn't from doing these, this is just something I've learned over the years of drawing horses. Okay, now we'll watch me go back to actually doing my own shading. And you can see how it works. By using the layer of multiply, you can keep going over yourself and it gets darker and darker each time. So you can have lighter and darker shadows, which I find incredibly useful. And you can see me doing cross hatching all along here. So glad I set this up. This is over double the speed. This is about 3 times as fast as I actually did it. Otherwise, this video, when I finished, it was 1 hour and 5 minutes long, which I don't think anyone would really want to sit through. So I thought this was a better way of doing it. So there you can see me doing the tendons, and I do later go back and redo the feet. Now, I'm just going to show you in pink is where to put highlights. In a second, I'll pause the video so you can see it. And it is a different technique I use for pink, highlights rather than pink. Instead, I use swipey motion, so less cross hatching, because I find light that's coming onto a horse is softer. You don't want it, whereas shadows are dark and quite blocky, whereas shadows highlights are light and wispy. So using wispier strokes looks as a whole